Hello everyone, it is Dylan from Yugioh Everything, back with podcast number 3. Whenever the spoilers come out and a big batch of summaries come out, I get a bunch of people on and we do a podcast. We've done this before, and I am extremely excited. These spoilers, as you guys know, are very, very interesting. They've gotten a lot of hype. So joining me, you guys know him. He's been on plenty of times, Legendary Duels. You guys know him as well. He was on the last podcast. Sam, YugiMon Cards, and joining us, a fresh new person, Forte, Senpai Forte. You've probably seen him comment on YouTube. He is Edo with the sunglasses, so a great profile pic there. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. We are going to talk about 4 main topics, and we might get off topic a little bit, but I like to just have guidelines for you guys to follow, and if one seems more interesting than the other, I'll have timestamps in the description, but I hope you guys stay tuned for the entirety of the podcast. Just kind of let it roll while you're mindlessly doing something else. That's what these are for, to entertain you guys and to just, hear your guys' opinion on this. So, here are the topics. The first one will be Asuka's treatment. Have they really dropped the ball on her character in Arc 5? Was bringing her back pointless? We'll give our thoughts on that. The second topic is Yutos Revival. Will Yuto be put back in his own body? If he does get revived, so to speak, how will it happen? We'll talk about maybe if Yuri's bracelet will have anything to do with that. Do you want it to happen, or would you rather him duel through Yugioh? The third topic will be the U-boys and the U-girls. According to the 125 summary, something abnormal will happen to Yugioh. Does this hint at Berserk mode? Should we be concerned for the safety of Yuri and Serena? What will the result of this duel be? So we're just going to kind of really focus on our first kind of tag duel. Well, I guess it might not be a tag duel depending on if Yuto leaves Yugioh or not, but our first kind of just out of the random U-boys versus U-girls matchup, like Yugo and Rin, Yuri and, well, Shun, that doesn't really count, but we've all had the typical matchups we've expected. This one's kind of out of the blue, so we'll focus on that. And then the last but not least topic we will be discussing is obviously the long-anticipated Yugo versus Yuri duel. After such a long anticipation, what are our predictions? What do we want to see happen? We will let you guys know that, so I hope you guys stay tuned for all of that, because it should be a very fun discussion. Again, thank you to these 3 for joining me, and please comment your thoughts on all these topics as we discuss them down below. So the first topic we're going to be discussing here is Asuka's treatment. I wanted to kind of keep this chronological based on 123 to 126. And Asuka, Alexis Rhodes, they announced that she was coming back, and I was very excited about this. I was very excited, and I thought this was a really cool move. I originally thought she was going to be working with Academia. It turns out her and Edo kind of had reversed roles, but it seems based on the 123 spoiler, and now there's some people saying that maybe Asuka's going to win, that Asuka is going to duel Yuri, and Asuka is going to lose. Now, she made her debut duel in 103. She defeated 3 clowns, really. They weren't relevant at all characters. They weren't even, I think they were below Obelisk Blue, so it wasn't even like she defeated Obelisk Blue, which isn't even impressive at all, excuse me. And the question here is, have they really dropped the ball on her character in Arc 5? And I think for the most part, this podcast is going to be pretty positive because the spoilers are awesome, and you guys know me, I don't get on negative rants too often. And I apologize to you 3 right now, I'm about to get on a decently, probably 3 or 4 minute negative rant. I think they have really made a huge mistake with her character. Now again, maybe she will lose to Yuri, or maybe she will defeat Yuri. If she loses to Yuri, that is just such a shame. And here's the thing, I reacted to the opening 5, and one of my 2 wants, this was way back in April, the video's on private now because of my copyright issue, but when that video goes up public, you can watch it, or maybe some people can vouch for me. I said my one want was for Asuka to get a big win during this arc. That was one of my 2 wants, and then my one want that I don't think is going to happen, I wouldn't mind if Alexis or Asuka from GX got a big win. She had no big wins in GX. If she beats Kite or Edo in a duel, or Yuya even, I really wouldn't mind that. I might be in the minority there, but I feel like she deserves at least one big win. I hope she's not underutilized. And it looks like it's not going to happen. Now, yeah, she can beat Yuri, and if that happens, that would be amazing. That would probably be one of the biggest upsets in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think it will happen. Asuka, again, she made her debut in 103, 20 episodes later, 20 episodes, about 5 months later, she's done nothing, and now it looks like she's going to duel Yuri and possibly die. I really, really think they made a huge mistake with this. She should have dueled Dennis. She should have even dueled the Moon person and even saved Rory. I mean, it wouldn't have made sense, but she should have just had some important duel. And yes, I know she could beat Yuri, and I referenced this theory video that I've watched where this guy thinks that, and it's a well-made theory video that thinks that she will beat Yuri. And if that happens, then I have issues with it on Yuri's side, because we haven't seen Yuri really win an important duel, and now he's going to lose to Asuka, and we know he's going to duel against Yugo. So that doesn't really make much sense in terms of the timeline aspect. It really is a shame. And there's kind of an underlying thing here with female characters and Yugioh. Female characters have always kind of been pushed to the side with Yugioh. It's always been an issue. And if I had to pick one thing for a 6th series, I've said it before, it would be a main female character. So when I look at this situation and I see how from GX, Alexis, Asuka has not gotten any more respect from the writers. From GX way back in 2004, 2005, now 10 years later, and it's still the same issues with female characters. Now don't get me wrong, Arc 5 has done some great things with females. We had Yuzu beating Yuya, the main character. That's never happened before, where the female rival defeats the main protagonist. We've had Rin defeating Yugo, which was a very shocking win. But it's just like, I don't know. When I look at it as a whole, and I look at Asuka, who's really just gotten horrible treatment again, and I really do feel horrible for her as a character, assuming she does go out and lose. And if she wins, that'd be great, but I really do think she's going to lose this duel. And when she loses this duel, it's just, why would you bring her back? I have no idea why you would bring her back. And then when I look at this treatment, a treatment of her for over the last 10 years, and then I think, are they going to have the main character of the 6th series be a female? I really hope so. Those hopes kind of get cut in half. And again, who knows if they'll even have a 6th series at this point. But it really is a shame. So there's underlying aspects of this, but I really think they have made a huge mistake with her character, and it really is a shame, and it's something that irks me greatly. Again, she should have dueled Dennis. Kaito has dueled so much. He's dueled so much, and we all love Kaito. We know how good of a duelist he is. He did not have to duel Dennis. He really didn't. Asuka, it's a shame, and I've pretty much said all I wanted to say. Legendary, do you think I'm overreacting? Do you agree with what I'm saying here? I want you to give me your thoughts on this, and give me your prediction on how you think the duel is going to play out, because I'm not talking until the Yugo versus Yuri, so I'll be kind of off the air, but I had to get those thoughts out of my head, because it really, really annoys me. And but what do you think? Do you think I'm overreacting, or do you agree with what I'm saying for the most part?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I do pretty much agree with most of it. I mean, throughout the series, ever since Asuka appeared, as you said, we were all very excited. And as of the last 20 whatever episodes, she hasn't done anything, and it's just been very difficult for the fans to really accept the fact that she's been brought back from the GX series, and then now she's not even doing anything, or hasn't been doing anything. So it really brings the question up as to why even bother bringing her back at all. What relevance is she even going to play at this point? And it's sad, really, because the more we keep watching episodes that she keeps being in, they keep taking the moments away from her. Like the duel with Yusho and Dennis, Asuka was going to duel, and actually Asuka and Yuzo were both going to duel, and then Yusho decided to duel him instead, and then that wasn't a finished duel. That was just a distraction. The same thing happened with the Dennis, and I agree. And I've said this before, I really don't like the fact that Kaito got this moment when he really didn't need this moment to have this victory, because he already has a bunch of victories, and she deserved it more. She needs time to shine in this series. Otherwise, there was no point of really bringing her back. So it really disappoints me how they've been treating her character. And at this point, everybody just is so disappointed at her character that they just think that she's automatically going to lose, and there's no other way out. And to be honest, I feel the same way. I'm questioning it a little bit more now, but I do feel the same way, and that's only because of the way they've been treating her, and it just hasn't been very, very well done, in my opinion, and it's kind of sad. But that does not mean that she is completely irrelevant at this point. To be honest, I was very surprised that she was going to duel Ruri. Like, that was unexpected. I don't think anybody really expected Yuri versus Asuka. Like, that's just an odd duel. Like, that's not something we were expecting. And, you know, RB loves to throw these oddball scenarios in there. And every time we think the series is going somewhere, they'll throw in a little curveball and be like, all right, this is going to happen instead. So this is one of those curveballs that we're speaking about. I never would have imagined a duel between Asuka and Yuri. Never even crossed my mind. They kind of haven't set that up really much at all. So, but because of this, it does, you know, bring up the question, like, could she actually win this? And everybody, at least maybe 90%, I don't know if that's an accurate number, pretty much almost everybody thinks no, with a few exceptions of some people that say yes. I'm pretty sure everybody says no, though. And I was on that same boat, and I also watched the theory video that you posted on your channel.
David Mathewson, I want to say. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Yes, that's it. The Yu-Gi-Oh! RV theory, Asuka will defeat Yuri in 123. That's a video that David Mathewson uploaded, and I watched it, and I was like, you know, he was actually making a lot of very valid points. And sure, maybe a tad bit biased, but hey, I'm a little biased too. I want to see her have a big role, especially the way they introduced her. I thought that was a very strong and enticing introduction, and we were really excited to see more of her, and then we didn't get anything more from her. So now that she's going to be dueling here, you know, finally dueling in Yugioh's place like she was supposed to the last two times, it just begs the question, what's going to happen here? And naturally, we think she's going to lose. But it could be possible that she just might win. Now, regardless of whether or not Asuka will win or lose, it's still going to be an amazing duel. I don't think it's going to be a quick and effortless duel. Let's keep in mind, she was also an academy student. She was part of the academy. She knows about fusion summoning. She knows a little bit about their structure and stuff like that. She worked there at one point. She was part of it. She was a student, and then she left. So she knows about academia very well, or for the most part. I'm sure there's something she doesn't know because she doesn't seem to know everything. But the point is she's very strong. And in her introduction, she clearly made a very powerful introduction by, you know, knocking out 3 people at once, 3 fusion duels. And that was with her new Cyber Angel monster, which was Cyber Angel Vishnu. And that monster has a very threatening and powerful effect. And that's a level 10 as well. And it basically destroys, it's specifically a fusion killer. It says, if this card is special summoned, you can destroy as many fusion monsters your opponent controls as possible. And if you do, inflict 1,000 to their controller for each monster that's destroyed. And then this card can attack that number of times during the battle phase this turn, up to the monsters that were destroyed by that effect. So that's a very fearsome effect. And once again, specifically killing fusion monsters, not just all monsters, but fusions. So clearly, it's kind of hinting and indicating that, yeah, she has a counter fusion deck. So naturally, anyone against Academia, would they really have that hard? Would it really be that easy to defeat her, considering she has a deck that seems to be countering their actual summoning conditions specifically? And also, from some of the spoilers, if you guys don't already know, if you guys don't want to know about this, you guys could just skip ahead after this part. But there was a magazine cover revealing that Asuka was going to summon a new Cyber Angel ritual monster, and it's called
Nasadia?
What?
Nasadia?
Yeah, Nasadia.
I'm pretty sure it's Cyber Angel Nasadia.
Yes.
Nasadia.
And that's we don't really have the stats or the effect, but we can assume it's going to have another really powerful effect, probably an even stronger effect than Vishnu at this point. So, and once again, specifically to kill fusion monsters. My prediction is that this is going to be a level 12, like her strongest Cyber Angel monster. You know, this is going to be a level 12 ritual with an even stronger effect than Vishnu. So I'm wondering how I think it could actually be possible that she could possibly defeat it, considering the fact that she's from the fusion dimension. She left. She has a deck that specifically counters fusion summoning in a sense. And she has the only monster we've seen of her from her ritual is already an extremely powerful monster. So we can only imagine that this new one is going to be even stronger than that one, especially if we're assuming she's going to get carded or not going to get carded. Because if she gets carded, at least she had one big shining moment where she went all out. I don't think Yuri's going to have an easy time in this duel either, because of the fact that they gave her a new Cyber Angel ritual. Because if they hadn't given her a new Cyber Angel ritual and just made her use Vishnu and this and that repeatedly, I think that would have made it so she would have definitely lost. But the fact that they're putting in effort into this duel by giving her a new evolution in a sense, that pretty much kind of gives me a hint and indication that they actually care about her as a character and they want her to have one shining moment, before she gets carded, if she gets carded, and possibly actually win this. It could be possible. Now, we know that Yuri's not using his actual main deck in the duel. From what we know, he's going to be using these new Agent Gear monsters from the structure deck. So he's not using his actual deck as far as we know. So there's a possibility that, let's say they play it out where she does defeat Yuri. Well, all right, that's fine, but he wasn't even using his real deck per se. So the duel with him and Yugo will still have somewhat relevance because he'll be using his real deck against Yugo, and his real deck wasn't defeated, it was by this other deck. Now, this other deck that Yuri's using is really powerful, as they say. It's a very special deck that they say for special members or something. It was like an honor deck or something. So it is going to be strong, definitely. But, I honestly think that she could possibly win this, and I feel like the decision to give him a new deck he's never used before for this specific duel only, it's kind of odd, to be quite honest. The fact that they just randomly gave him a new deck before we even really got to see his Predator plans that much in action. We haven't seen too much of it, and the fact that in this one specific duel he's just going to use a different deck out of the blue. Maybe that's set up on purpose so that it could be possible that Asuka could win, and then in the next duel against Yugo, he could possibly defeat Yugo in that case, and I think that would be really cool. And also the theory that Matthew had. It was really good, and I felt like all his points were actually very strong. I'm trying to remember a few of them. I'm blanking right now, but either way, I just think Asuka could still have a potential big role. And even if she gets carded, I feel like this duel will not be an easy one. Now, before I thought they might give her a good enough duel, but because of this new evolution, I feel like that's giving her some respect. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's very important. They're giving her something new in this duel against Yuri. So the question of will she be carded, will she lose this duel, kind of hard to say. And it never said that she was going to lose this duel. Once again, in the theory video, it said that in the episode it ended with the words "but" or something, which is the same thing that happened with the Shun and Ruri duel. So we assumed that could it be possible that Shun could lose, and we know he ended up winning that duel anyway. So it could be possible that they're just teasing us, making us think that something bad's gonna happen to her. And at this point, we all pretty much expect something bad's gonna happen to her. So since RGB likes to surprise us, like you said in the video, they could just throw a curveball and say, you know what, hey, she actually defeated Yuri. Now, some people have issues with the fact that Yuri is losing now, but it could end up being a good thing. It's awkward. I personally don't like it either, but at the same time, at this point, since Asuka hasn't been used much, I'd rather her have a shining spotlight, because Yuri's still going to have a duel against Yugo and maybe you or whoever. So he still has a role here. He's still having this one loss isn't going to be that big of a deal. He still has more duels ahead of him, and he's not going to get carded from this duel because that's not what Asuka does. She's going to be showing entertainment style dueling. So, I mean, those are my thoughts on it. I think people shouldn't give up on her yet. I am still nervous about it, but I believe that with everything we've been given, with the spoilers and everything, and the new monster, I feel like there's honest potential for her to do something big in this duel. Either give a really amazing fight, a really hard fight for Yuri, or possibly win. And those are my thoughts.
Yeah, well, it's definitely interesting, and it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. Great insight there, Legendary. And you guys, before we move on, Forte, do you have anything you want to add on this topic?
Yeah, I was just going to echo your guys' thoughts about bringing back Asuka and the way she's been treated, because in my opinion, she was underused in GX, so I saw this as definitely being her like second shot to be this great heroine, and they haven't really lived up to what I expected. However, I will say that if the duel is well animated and if she gives Yuri a run for her money, I'll be happy. But by the same token, the fact that he could beat her with this honor deck, which is kind of seems like a deck he just picked up off the street. I mean, literally he didn't, but it's not even his real deck. So it feels like they're kind of downplaying Asuka, but if it's a good duel with good animation, and if she helps the cast progress forward towards, as we know, the eventual spoilers, getting closer to Akabaleo and protecting everyone from Yuri, I'll be okay with that. And I am leaning towards the fence that he won't lose, simply because that would ruin his momentum going into this Yugo versus Yuri duel. And if he lost, he would feel less threatening, even if he switched decks. But that's all I had to say.
No, that's a very good point. Yeah, and that's the thing that probably irks me the most, that it was like a second chance for her, and it feels like they just kind of flushed it down the toilet. Before we move on again, Sam, do you have anything you want to add?
I personally think, I know he's using this honor student deck, but I think maybe most of the duel will be this honor student deck, but I think maybe he might throw a curveball and somehow get either his predator plants in there, like a merge deck, or just summon Star Venom. And Star Venom's effect, though Vishnu can counter it, Star Venom, it hasn't been shown in the anime yet, but if it is destroyed, it destroys all special summon monsters on the field. So if Asuka just doesn't have a protection card, he can do something. And about the underused thing, I mean, she was kind of a letdown in GX, and I wasn't expecting too much, because I only watched GX quite recently, because I got told it was bad, it was good, I was just like, okay, I'll watch it sometime. and then it's hard to explain. It looked really cool. Her entrance was absolutely awesome. It just was awesome. But I think I knew from the beginning that she would be underused. We've seen so many female characters already in Arc 5 become underused. Serena, and up until recently, Ruri and Rin. I know they hadn't debuted, but they virtually hadn't even been shown that much in flashbacks. We hadn't heard Ruri in that point even. So I didn't expect much, and I would have rather had that slot to be something cool, like everyone's saying Marufuji Hideo is coming back. I would have preferred him instead of Asuka to come back, to be honest, or even something random like Tyranno, or whatever his name is, the dinosaur dude, Tyranno Hasselberry. That would have been even a bit funny. Hasselberry, yeah, I know his name in the dub. I just haven't watched the sub. Just like, I would have preferred someone, because I love Marufuji Hideo. I think he's absolutely badass. I think he's one of the coolest characters ever. It would have been amazing. That's just my thoughts, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I think and that's the thing. They chose Asuka over Marufuji, and I figured they chose her for a reason. Maybe because they were gonna redeem her, and maybe it just kind of, I don't know. But it'll be interesting. We don't know what's gonna happen, so maybe we'll get shocked, but we'll see. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on one. We spent a lot of time on that topic, so we're gonna move on now to episode 124's title name, The Revived Phantom Knights. And Forte, I'm gonna start with you. Yuto, we have waited, I forget what episode off the top of my head, when Yuto basically got killed and formed with Yuya. But if people were kind of
37.
tired of it, 37, thank you. I had a feeling you'd know, Sam. When people, maybe when they reached the Synchro arc, people were kind of hoping, all right, maybe they're going to split up, maybe they're going to split apart. And if that's the case, there have been some people that have been waiting 70, 75 episodes for Yuto over a year, for Yuto to finally go back into his own body. So again, Forte, I'm going to start with you. Do you think he will be revived? If he does get revived and is put back into his own body, gets separated from Yuya, how will it happen? Will it have to do with Ruri's bracelet? Do you want it to happen, or would you rather continue to see him duel through Yuya for now against Ruri? Give me your thoughts on that.
Okay, so I'm really torn on this situation. I've been thinking about it for a while, actually. I actually want Yuto to be free from Yuya's body, but by the same token, I feel like that would be backtracking, because the whole plot is to get for us, the chant for us all to become one and release the darkness, and I feel like that has a lot to do with it, because Yuya seems to be the only person who has the ability to assimilate his other counterparts. So I feel like if they separated Yuto, during the duel with Ruri, he would just end up back inside Yuya again for the key to unleash the darkness, the spoiler, the day the devil was born.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, I would love for Yuto to be free from Yuya, and then they have that tag duel. And as we know, during the duel, Ruri, Selena also appears in the duel, so that would make sense, but it would just feel like backtracking at that point. So I'm actually leaning more towards the fence. We'd have a similar situation that we saw with Edo Phoenix, where Yuya's voice kind of, what should I say, became one with Yuto's. You could hear both of them talking. His eyes became gray. Yeah, right. And his eyes became gray when he used Rank Up Magic Phantom Knight's launch, and we saw Dark Requiem. And not to get too far off topic, but I would love to see Dark Requiem again. I mean, we keep seeing Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, but we've only seen Dark Requiem once. So I would love to see that card again.
Just somebody gets Kachidoki.
Yeah. But yeah, I just feel like as much as I want it to happen, and the title is The Revived Phantom Knights, I feel like it's going to be Yuto still in Yuya's body, and he's just using Phantom Knights. Now, Arc 5 is really hard to predict, so there's no telling where they would go. I could see them totally releasing Yuto, and he's free, and then he gets absorbed back in with the something strange happens to Yuya, but honestly, not to be too repetitive, it just feels like backtracking if they did that. And then put him back in his body. But it's hard to say. For sure we're going to see Phantom Knights in the episode, judging by the title. I would certainly hope so. But I'm really excited for that duel, because when Shun dueled Ruri, I was like, well, I feel like Yuto should also get some kind of play in this, some kind of emotion with it.
Right.
Because we've been seeing Yuya and Yuzu and this deep emotion. I don't want to say boyfriend, girlfriend, because you know how Yugioh is. But we keep seeing this deep emotion between these Yu boys and these Yu girls, so I'm glad they're doing this. I'm just on the fence on what it all means. What does, quote unquote, the revived Phantom Knights really mean?
Well, I like that a lot, and I like how you kind of say it maybe is backtracking for the plot, because I think 99 out of 100 fans would say, yes, Yuto, his own body, like, revive him, and that's exactly what I want, and it sounds like that's what, you wouldn't mind seeing either. But at the same time, is this title clickbaity? Remember, there was an episode from Duel Monsters titled Janucci Dies. He didn't die. There was an episode from Arc 5 titled The Falcon Perishes on the Battlefield. Yes. Shun did not die. So these titles sometimes are very clickbaity, where they're kind of misleading, and that's why I feel like it's important to discuss whether Yuto is going to be put back in his own body or not. And I want you guys to leave it in the comments below. Legendary, what do you make of all this?
I would really hope so that Yuto does come back. I didn't think at first that it would be backtracking, but I could kind of understand how that would be, since what was the point of like fusing him with Yuya in a sense, just to like have him brought back now? It'd be kind of weird. But I mean, the episode title doesn't necessarily infer that he's coming back, but it's something we're hoping for. I would like to see it. Even if it would be backtracking, I would like to see it, because I always loved him as a character. I felt they pretty much kind of, in a sense, killed him off way too early in the series. Like, he was such a good character. He has a great design on top of that, a great deck, and he played such an important role, and I'm just surprised that they decided to kill him off so early, and we've been waiting for a long time for him to come back, and it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. And the way that they're, I guess, clickbaiting us with this episode makes it seem like he is coming back. Hopefully, that would be great, but most likely not, and it's going to be the same as before, like Forte said, that it's going to, his eyes are going to get black. I think what's going to happen, though, is with the interaction, you're just going to see, what is it?
Yuto's memories?
Yeah. Yuya's going to see Ruri, and then obviously Yuto, he's going to be talking with Yuya. And then once she starts up the duel, Yuya's going to start dueling or whatever, or about to start dueling, and Yuto just talks to him and says, please let me take your place. I want to take control of this duel. I want to get through to her and this and that. It could happen during the duel, but I think it would be nice if he kind of did it also, like right off the beginning. Like, he just asked Yuya, hey, can I just take over right now so I can duel her and try to knock some sense into her. This is his best friend's sister, and hopefully we'll get a little bit into their relationship. Not that type of relationship, but that gets really
keep it PG.
Sure, Legendary.
Not that. Hasn't even been played up at all. There's like no communication with these two characters, so I'm not even gonna go there. But just talking or whatever. But it would be really great. And I think the revived Phantom Knights, it's specifically referring to Phantom Knights, which is his deck, his archetype. So that's what's gonna be most likely. He's gonna take over Yuya's body, probably in the beginning or somewhere in the middle or somewhere in the start of the duel, and he's just going to use his Phantom Knight monsters, because as we saw the last time that Yuto took over his body, he drew the rank up magic, which is obviously not part of Yuya's deck, which means whenever he takes control of Yuya's body, he's able to use his own deck somehow, unexplained. But
also, just to say something, Yuya went into the locker and then he found the deck there. He could have picked something up from it. If you don't remember, when they were walking around Heartland Duel School, or whatever it's called, he found Yuto's deck. He could have picked something up. We don't know. Sorry to interrupt.
Wait, they found Yuto's deck in there? I thought it was just a picture.
Well, I think they also picked up cards. Yeah, they also picked up cards.
That's what people were speculating.
That's interesting. So it could be new Phantom Knights that they found in the locker, or it could just be that the deck was swapped as soon as he took over Yuya's body. Either way, the point is he's gonna have Phantom Knights. Hopefully, if this is the case that he is gonna take over his body, I'd rather it be in the beginning, because that way we get to see a full duel where Yuto is taking over and we get to see more Phantom Knights, because his archetype is very short. We didn't get to see much of it. So this would be a great opportunity to see more from his deck, which we've needed to see, I feel, or I want to see. And yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but recently they did release some more Phantom Knights. Sorry to interrupt. There are some Phantom Knights that haven't been in the anime that have been released in the TCG so far. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense if they were to debut in this episode.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that.
One looks like a little. Yeah. It looks like a knight's helmet, which is cool.
Yeah. Some cool cards that never came out. Hopefully, though, I hope it's some new ones, because as you guys know, I create character decks on my channel, so the more cards he uses, the more chances we'll make of making his character deck.
Right.
So I want him to use new ones so we could combine those that never came out with the ones.
PK Fire.
Yeah. So I'm just rooting for Yuto to get more cards, and the fact that they're giving him a duel where he's taking over, hopefully it's the whole duel, that really makes me happy as a fan. We probably won't see him return in his own body, but at least we'll get a moment where he is, in a sense, taking over and he's taking place in this duel. So I'm excited for it. I just hope it's something, really, really worthwhile, which I'm sure it will be.
Yep. Yeah, well said, Legendary. Yeah, and it's going to be, I think it has the potential. I might be even more excited for this duel than I am for Yugo versus Yuri. I'm excited for both. And this is a perfect segue into the next topic, which we're going to talk about the summary for 125. And it'll be interesting because if Yuto is put back in his own body, I'm going to start with you, Sam. If Yuto is put back in his own body, 124 is going to be Yuto and Yuya versus Ruri in a 2-on-1, and that seems kind of barbaric. And then Serena's going to come and level the playing field, or Yuto isn't going to be revived, and it's going to be, again, 1-on-1, and then a 2-on-1 assault, Serena and Ruri, which would make more sense. But I guess we'll see what happens. According to the 125 summary, something abnormal is going to happen to Yuya. Sam, does this hint at Berserk mode? Should you be concerned for the safety of Ruri and Serena? Should we be concerned for their safety? And what will the final result of this duel be?
If I were to be worried if I had to choose between Serena and Ruri, I'd be more worried for Serena. But I honestly don't think it's Berserk mode. I just don't. It wouldn't make sense for Yuto and Yuya. I understand that they go Berserk mode whenever, but that wouldn't make sense for them to go to Berserk mode for the people that they cherish and care about, and that's their goal to even save. It'd just be like kind of random and kind of douchey.
So what do you think? If you don't think it's Berserk mode, that's completely fine, and that's why I love having these discussions. What do you think the abnormality that's happening to Yuya is?
I don't know.
It's tough to predict. No, it is tough.
It wouldn't. We got in episode 104 a completely new type of thing that would make sense if referring the possession where Yuto takes over Yuya. They're throwing curveballs. Arc 5 is so hard to predict.
Absolutely.
We could have magically Yuya's deck turns into a Cosmo deck. He starts ripping apart the meta. Dark Destroyer.
So what do you say?
I'd be so scared.
What do you think the final result of the duel will be? Who do you think's going to win?
I feel it'll either be interrupted, or Yuto will stop. If Yuya goes into berserk mode, I think Yuto will be like, "No, don't hurt Ruri," and then he'll probably like stop him or something. It's hard. It's so hard to explain.
It's tough. Forte,
stuttering a lot.
Forte, maybe you can help him out. What do you think about all this that's going on with this duel?
Sorry, you asked me to do this.
Well, if Yugioh had Cosmos, that would be OP, number one. But after that, I am leaning more towards that it will be Berserk mode. I'm kind of cheating because we have the spoilers, because right after this, or soon after this, we obviously have Akabaleo talking about the day the devil was born. So, not to be too comedic, but the way the plot would go, I could see it being like...
the devil is normal.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, and just going off the way the plot has gone, I could definitely see it being like Akabaleo tells the story, and then they're like, so what does it all mean? And we see like a dark cloud, and he just points and like, oh, it's that. It's because it's obviously Yuya and the chant, everyone becoming one. So I really do think it refers to Berserk mode.
I have a theory about Revival Zero. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to go.
No, you're good.
But I think Revival Zero is that Zero is Yuya and Yuzu. I have a feeling, I just don't know why, that Yuto and Yugo and all of them might have not been ever to exist. And now that they do exist with Yuya and Yuzu, who might be some special ones compared to everyone else, it's going to put the world in danger. I feel that. Sure. And I also feel that another thing, to get off topic, why Pendulum actually worked, is that Leo actually discovered Pendulum while maybe researching something for Leo Corporation. He got a vision of Berserk mode and Yuya and Yuzu and the world's destroying, and then Pendulum started or something. And then he maybe got transported to the fusion dimension or decided to protect his son and his wife and his company by going to another dimension and doing this work. I know it's completely off topic. It's just that stuff that I've had in my head that I thought would be good to talk in this kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many theories, and that'll definitely be. And I mean, I'll hold you to that. And if it happens, I'll obviously give you a huge shout out. Forte, do you want to finish what you were saying?
Oh yeah, I just want to say I'm pretty sure it's Berserk mode, and I actually fear for both Ruri and Serena, because I mean, anytime Yuya goes Berserk mode, I mean, as the name implies, he goes Berserk, and there's no telling what kind of damage, even if they don't lose the duel, as we saw, not to bring too much emphasis on the past, but the Falcon that perishes on the battlefield, these duels can hurt you without you even losing. Buildings can fall on you, debris can really hurt you in this quote-unquote children's card game. So even with all that in mind, I do feel for their safety, even if they don't lose. But just with all this in mind and the spoilers we have, I just really think that the strange thing that happens to Yuya is this Berserk mode, and Yuzu isn't on the scene anymore, because the only reason he didn't go into the full thing seemingly last time was Yuzu showed up, which was good for that sense, but everyone was like, no, the plot. But with all that in mind, I really do think that it's the beginning of this darkness being unleashed, the key to whatever it is, and it just follows kind of the plot line that it would happen right here, judging from the spoilers we have. But that's all I had to say.
Yeah, and it's fair. It's definitely fair to feel that way, and it's definitely fair to be a little worried about Ruri and Serena. Legendary, I'm going to turn it over to you real quick, but I just want to say something. We also don't know where these duels are going to be. It could be that when Yugo is dueling Yuri, they are in the same room as the Bracelet girls versus the U-Boys, kind of similar to when Yuya dueled Barrett. And if that's the case, then all hell is going to break loose. So that's also very important to keep in mind. But Legendary, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's very quick. To also give my thought on whether or not I think that that's Berserk mode. At first, well, obviously, based on what they're saying, abnormal happens. That usually implies Berserk mode. But other than that, more specifically, the title is called the Blazing Dragon. And obviously, the Berserk mode has to do with all four of the dragons and stuff. So that's another hint and indication. Also, the Blazing Dragon title could also refer to when he goes to Berserk mode, there could be also a new dragon that Yuya summons, a new dragon evolution during this duel. That could be possible, too.
Okay, so Mega.
It could be Genesis. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Oh,
you guys let us know in the comments below, of course, about this, and we're going to move on to our final topic, and it's a duel that everyone has been wanting for so long now, including myself. Yugo versus Yuri. After such a long time, we are finally getting this duel in 126. Sam, I'm going to give it to you. What are your predictions? What do you want to see happen from this duel? How long should this duel be? Really just talk about any expectations, any wants that you want from this duel.
I want to see possibly more speedroids, because I actually use speedroids in real life. That's one of my, because I love synchro decks. I want more predator plants. I want better support for predator plants. I want Yuri and Yugo to have a showdown. I don't want it to be like Yuri bodies Yugo, or Crystal Wing, considering Crystal Wing is debatably the best of all the dragons, body Yuri. I don't want to just see a one-sided duel. I want to see Yuri summons Star Venom, destroys Clear Wing, Yugo goes into something, goes for this whole new shit. That's just mainly what I want to see, and the end, I expect Yuri. I expect Yuri, and then Yugioh will be like, "No, Yugo!" And then Yugo will be like, "Take my Clear Wing, Yuri. Bring your smiles." and then I feel against Yuri, which would be really nice to see, is synchronization again. If Yugo does get defeated against Yuri, or something happens, because I virtually think that Yuri versus Yugioh will happen. But I don't think it'll happen straight after Yugioh versus, not Yugioh versus what? Yuri versus Yugo. So many U's. I don't think it'll take place straight after that. They probably won't want to go plot, big duel plot. They want to probably do maybe another filler or two, and I feel that maybe I'm pretty sure that after Yugo versus Yuri, it'll be either a Jack duel, because I have a theory that since Rin isn't appearing, maybe Yuya sends Jack, since he sees Ruri and Serena, and he knows that Yuzu is somewhere else, say, there's this girl named Rin, she must be in that other tower, Jack, just go there. Or, as Kite hinted at in 119, that it'll be him versus the Doctor. And my theory for that is that I was speaking with Dylan earlier, is that Kite is going to get persuaded. I think maybe Kite is going to start to body him, like absolutely body the Doctor, and then Doctor will be like, "Hey, Kite, aren't you that kid with the stolen family? Professor, would we like to give him his family? Or he could work for academia for us." And then I think he'll be, which I know this is a dream duel, and everyone, at least I think everyone, will go absolutely nuts if this would happen. Maybe the Doctor to say, either there's this powerful duelist there, or the Lance is here, and I think maybe, or Kite to go collect Rin, because Rin, we don't know where Rin is. She could have just wandered off down the street. She could be in the synchro dimension, for all we know. She could be chased by academia. We don't know where, Kite could be like, "Oh, just go find our Rin." And I think maybe he'll stumble onto Jack, and we'll have a Jack versus Kite duel, which would be, you can agree with me if you guys actually do agree, which would be absolutely awesome.
It absolutely would be. Yeah, Forte, do you have anything you want to add to that? I mean, if Jack and Kite dueled, let me just say, I mean, everyone would go nuts. And that is an interesting theory. Forte, do you have anything you want to add to that real quick?
Yeah, I was going to go off that because, as you can see by my picture, I'm a huge Edo Phoenix fan. Loved him in GX.
And we haven't even mentioned Edo at all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it wasn't really on the topic. Yeah, I know. It wasn't really on the topic, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there real quick that in the episodes that we see Yugo, because we just found out the cast list for, I believe, 123,
yes.
And Yugo is there, but Edo is either not there or just doesn't have a speaking role, which is interesting because last time we saw them, he was questioning what this parasite or this bug was. And my theory was, I really think it would be great for Edo's character, and it would show that he's truly left academia and has become, like, what should I say, redeemed, if he was the one to defeat the Doctor. And then when he defeats the Doctor, as he speculated, that would bring the U-Girls back. It would break the, I don't want to call it a spell, maybe that is a play on words, but it would break the parasite fusion or whatever kind of parasite grip on them, and it would truly make him a hero, which would be great because he hasn't been very heroic considering his deck archetype, especially since we was first introduced. So I could really see Edo dueling the Doctor and hopefully winning. And if it was a tag duel between like all our returning characters that haven't been carded, rest in peace, Crow, that would be really awesome. So that's just all I want to say. Yeah,
I like that a lot, actually. Edo, Kite, and Jack versus the Doctor. That would be
like
awesome.
Body, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a slaughter, but it would be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be fitting.
It would be, because Edo's another character, kind of like Asuka, that we could spend time on. That he hasn't won a duel yet, but maybe that's another topic for another day. I'm going to wrap things up, giving my thoughts quickly on the Yugo versus Yuri duel. I'm glad we're getting it. I want this duel to be at least 2 episodes. I want it to be 126 and 127. I want to see every turn, because the last time they dueled, we didn't really see anything. Yugo, we were getting cutscenes here and there. Yugo had Clear Wing. And then I think, we just saw Yuri, and Yuri had Sar Venom, and that was pretty much it. That was the duel. So I want to see all the turns. This is how I think the duel's going to end. I think it's going to be kind of similar to what you think is going to happen with Kite. Sam, where I think that Yuri is going to beat Yugo. Don't absorb him. I would not like that at all. They would not get along. I would not like that at all. Yuri is going to tell Yugo, and maybe even show Yugo like a picture of Rin being tortured or in extreme pain and saying, something as dark as that. We're going to kill off Rin if you don't join Academia, if you don't fight Yuya, if you don't fight for us. Something like that. And then Yugo, and that's a theory I've been on for a while now, Yugo is
Evil
going
Crystal.
to fight for Academia. So that's what I think. That's what I want to see from the duel. I think Yuri's going to win if I had to
Imagine if it was a
predict.
tag. Sorry to interrupt. Imagine if it was a tag with Rin and Yugo versus the world. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
And the thing is, both of their decks work in unison. But at least in the OCG, TCG, they both support wind monsters, and both Rin and Yugo's decks are completely wind. So they would get all the effects from each other, and they'd be probably a formidable tag team. With a Crystal Wing that cannot be destroyed by card effects, that's pretty OP. I use it on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. I
Very
demolish.
OP. Very OP. Legendary, do you have anything you want to add real quick?
Yeah, we won't spend too much time on this topic. I think we just forgot to mention this very interesting part about episode 126, the spoilers, in the beginning when it mentioned that Yuri attempts to turn Sora into a card and then...
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
That leads to...
Poor little Sora.
Yeah, because, we left off the duel with Asuka and Yuri, and then we don't even know how that ends. Then an episode later, 2 episodes later, we see that Sora is getting turned into a card.
Yuri is a monster.
I bet you $100.
Yuri's
I bet
on
you
a
$100
rampage.
Jane will appear, and he'll just tell him to go get your game on, and then he's going to body him, and Alexis is going to be, Asuka's going to be safe, and then Yusei's going to appear, and then Yugi's going to appear, and then they're going to go all, and instead of all the U-boys coming one, all the protagonists will become one, and it'll be OP as hell.
I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna hold you to that, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam, I'm gonna hold you to that. But no, you're absolutely you're absolutely right, Legendary. And I think that it's just, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that in the comments, because Sora just randomly appears, and I'm glad you brought that up. I really don't know what to make of that, but you guys let us know in the comments below. Obviously, it's going to be a very exciting next 4 episodes. 122 airs in like 5 hours, so, well, when you're watching this podcast, it will have already aired. But guys, that's pretty much going to wrap things up. So thank you all so much for watching. I always say this, I'm only one person. We're only 4 people of a much larger community. We would not do these if it was not for you guys. And just having more people on and new people on, new faces like Forte, who I thought gave great analysis. That's what this is all about, just getting people exposure, bringing the community together. So thank you guys so much, because really
Thanks,
without you guys, it's not possible. I'm going to let all 3 of my guests give their outros here. I will link all their channels, Instagrams, DeviantArts, whatever they have down below. Please give them a follow. Legendary Duels, if you want to give your shameless plug-in first.
Shameless plug. Okay.
Shameless plug.
Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you guys. I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Gotcha!
Like I said last time, virtually the same thing, still working on stuff. Thumbnails, editing. I'm actually about to commission someone for what's-her-face, an artwork for my YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. like I said in the last time as well, I have my Yu-Gi-Oh channel, which was originally Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. I've decided to dedicate this one that I'm currently coming to you as for Yu-Gi-Oh, which most likely most of you will check out. But if any of you are Pokemon fans, if Dylan is okay with this, I might leave my Pokemon channel.
Absolutely.
Go to subscribe
Absolutely.
and just until the video comes out. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's it. I have a Tumblr, but I barely go on Tumblr. I just did it to follow a few people, mainly to get spoilers really early.
Cool.
That's virtually it.
Awesome.
Rev it
Forte,
up,
you're
everyone. Love you.
Oh, yeah, so my channel, I just kind of really got into it because of like other channels like the ones I'm in the podcast with right now. They really inspired me to start making a few videos, whether it be discussions or stuff like that. I used to do like a few deck profiles, which got quite a bit of views, and I was really grateful for it, but I just love the community. That's what really made me want to do a few videos. I am doing it mostly as a hobby because school is quote-unquote cray-cray and all that, but I'm just so like, it's just so great to see people comment and like get into discussions like the one here. I mean, there's only so much you can say in a comment section of a YouTube video, so sometimes I just like to make videos, and everyone's been very supportive. And Dylan, I thank you for like letting me get in on this podcast. It's been really fun. I enjoy like all the videos you've done, all the videos everyone in this podcast has done so far. And it's just really bringing the community together. And the Yu-Gi-Oh community is just like super nice. It's different than a lot of communities where people are very like rude to one another and all that. But so far, everyone's just been so nice and thoughtful. Even if they didn't agree with opinions, they've just, graciously disagreed. And it's just been great. So yeah, that's all my channel. It's just a few discussion videos that I was happy with. Please come by and check it out if you guys are interested. Sub if you feel like it, and we'll have more videos soon. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank all three of you. And Forte, thank you for the compliments, but you sum it up well. The people and of course, every community has its trolls, and there are some people in comment that are trollish, but I mean, for the most part, 95%, you guys in the comment section are amazing, and you are the reason that we make videos like this. And again, if you're interested in coming on one of these podcasts, feel free to message me. If you don't like speaking, I've kind of opened it up to where I'm going to get like an expert panels for my fantasy duel segment. So if you want to get exposure that way, that's another way you can do it. So, because at the end of the day, I just try to bring people closer together and the community closer together. And speaking of some, so yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Legendary Duels. Thank you, YugiMon Cards, and thank you, Forte, for all coming on. Please comment down below. We will talk to you guys down below in the comments. Let us know what you think for all the topics we discussed, and maybe some things we maybe didn't discuss. Any theories you guys have would be greatly appreciated. As always, guys, have a great day. Thank you so much.